I lived quite a superficial life. I was doing a fucking load of drugs, doing a lot of coke. I was in the film industry, I was being paid really well. And then in those moments when I'm on my own, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
So in the moments when you're on your own and Danny's in his own head, you're a bit self-loathing now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the gift and curse of me is my mind. When it turns in on itself, it can be awful, like torture, absolute torture.
I did make an attempt.
Yeah, so did I.
So I feel blessed to be here.
We're on the precipice of total human enslavement through a digital dystopia that is on our doorstep. If that doesn't get you fired up, then I don't know what will.
Do you think that that's because, like, as you mature, you do start to give less of a fuck?
Mark Twain said the two most important days of our life is the day we're born and the day we find out why. Divide and conquer. They're getting us all to fight amongst ourselves while they're doing that. The digital prison is on its way, unless we do.
Welcome to this week's episode of So What's Your Story? Today's studio guest is what I describe as a man who is spiritually awakened, a free speaker, enjoys challenging the system, mass media, herd mentality. He lives a life of personal freedom, I'm going to say, and cultivates self-empowerment. He hosts workshops which are been called in the past freeing oneself from the matrix. He's also an all-round nice bloke. He's got a great head of hair and a beard. And I have no idea, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea where this chat might go today. But I'm going to warn you in advance. Danny will not be censored or heavily edited. And he might drop the odd F-bomb and even a C word occasionally. This is raw. This is real. This is Danny Bedford, a.k.a. Dear Danny. Without further ado, and to coin one of his most favoured phrases, watch you, mate. Welcome to So What's Your Story?
What you Ian?
You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, so look, we are going to free flow. And you are a man of independent voice, let's say. You have got good hair as well. For those who are just listening on audio, check him out. He's got amazing locks. So where shall we go? I mean, there's so much we could pack into this, isn't there? And you and I spoke off air about authenticity, people becoming diluted, veneers. You know, you are, and you know, you don't pull punches, do you? On your socials, you say it as it is. You're known for a man who is firm with his opinion. You don't really give a fuck what people think because it's your opinion. But then there's a lot of people agree with it.
It's something I've been going back and forth with for quite a few years. For me, that the thing that stops people being able to celebrate their uniqueness or their individuality is self-esteem, is the ability to be able to love oneself for your warts and all. And I feel that that's quite a foreign thing now in our society because of celebrity, because of social media, because of people being able to be put on a pedestal in the space of 5 seconds and become sort of viral, you know, just over
instant gratification.
Instant gratification, materialism, superficiality. It goes on and on and on. And I think all that's doing is taking us further away from ourselves. And I feel that, you know, for me personally, my last 2 decades of my life have been really looking into who I am and trying to love myself no matter what, you know, for all of the shit that I carry. And
because none of us are perfect.
Absolutely not. We don't want to be. Well, I love the phrase.
Is there such a thing as perfect?
No, I think we're perfectly imperfected.
I love that.
You know, because we imagine like you're not you and I'm not me, and we're all just robots, then, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I know, like sometimes because of the way that I express myself and articulate myself, when I get passionate and I really get fired up about the situation. And just for context, if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, the situation is that we're on the precipice of total human enslavement through a digital dystopia that is on our doorstep. If that doesn't get you fired up and make you want to express yourself in an uncensored, fluid way, then I don't know what will. So sometimes I swear and I get quite infuriated about the social system and what's going on in our world. But it's all from a place of care and true empathy for mankind's plight.
I hear you. I think we're a similar age. Don't know. I'm 56.
Fucking hell, thanks.
Are you younger than me?
Fucking not wrong. You could be me dead.
What are you then?
I'm not telling you.
Right, well, all right then.
I'm early 40s,
okay.
I am.
Are you early 40s?
I'm early 40s, yeah.
Right, you've had a tough paper round, mate.
Uphill paper round.
Sorry. Perhaps we could edit that out if you want.
No, I don't give a shit. To me, actually,
well, what I was going to go with
on.
was forget the similar age bit. Sorry about that. That was a fraudulent slip. Right?
It's going to give the audience a good laugh. That's for sure.
No, it sure is. Yeah. But what I was going to say was, do you think say you've been doing this self-love, this self-discovery for over 2 decades, which takes you into your early 20s. There you go, Danny. I'm complimenting you.
Thank you very much.
But do you think that that's because, like, as you mature, you do start to give less of a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a factor. And I suppose like there's so many other different factors involved as well, right? Because like some people find, I mean, I've seen a lot of the time is when people are at their lowest is when they find that breakout of the, let's say, the world that is not them, and they start to be able to explore more of their true self. And then I think with that becomes the celebration of uniqueness and not giving a fuck. But I think sometimes that it might take quite a dramatic event a lot of the time. It certainly did for me. You know.
I want to talk about that
if you want. Yeah,
go on.
I lived quite a superficial life. I went into psychotherapy as quite young, actually, 20 years of age. But at the same time, it almost felt for me that was quite superficial because I was picking up all of these tools and I was going out into the world and I was using them to manipulate women and,
Was you?
Whatever I could. I just gained all of this stuff that I could use in sort of social situations, for jobs, for, as I say, for women, for like lots of sort of in an insidious way of using my discovery,
Okay. Knowingly,
yeah. And then I fell into a relationship with a lady that was very serious for sort of 7 years, and it got to the point where that started to feel incredibly superficial. I was doing a fucking load of drugs, doing a lot of coke.
Was you?
I was in the film industry. I was being paid really well. I was always invited to parties. It was there. It was available, accessible. Yeah, I was living in London.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was sitting there and I was in these after parties and stuff and realising that, what am I doing here?
Was that around the raving time? Well, no, that was after that, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And where all of a sudden I had a real feeling of like claustrophobia.
Did you?
And anxiety.
Did you?
Yeah. And panic attacks and I would say for a period, the last sort of 2 years of our relationship when I was in my late 20s, I was heavily depressed.
Oh my
but I don't
God.
think people knew it because I would just mask it with booze and drugs. And
so in the moments when you're on your own and Danny's in his own head, you're a bit self-loathing then.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm the gift and curse of me is my mind, as well as my heart, but I've got an incredibly active mind that is very powerful. And when it turns in on itself, it can be awful, like torture, absolute torture.
Shit.
Yeah. So I was toying with ending my life, and I didn't want to be.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I think lots of people go through it, right?
No, they do.
And I think it's actually taboo. And I think one of the things is being able to talk about it openly, because there's probably loads and loads of people.
Well, I don't
listening
think you know
to
this about me, but I did make an attempt on my own.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel blessed to be here.
Yeah.
And I really feel it's tragic that people who don't come out the side of that, and what people listening to who don't understand why men get to that point, or women, or children, or whatever, is because the inner hatred will not shut up.
No.
So your only way of switching it off is to switch it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that sounds really cold and everything else, but I do. I'm going to look straight into the camera. I feel very, very blessed to be here every single day, and I am not even ashamed of what I did, because it was what was right for me, my decision in that time. And, I'm sorry to hear that you went there as well. A lot of men do. It's the biggest curse of men under the age of 43.
Yeah.
73% of men under the age of 43 take their own lives in the UK right now.
Frightening statistic.
Because we put the mask on. To the outside world, it's all cushy. Look, I'm using your language now. And then it's not. It's not. It's tragic.
Yeah.
It's a shit show.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad we're talking about this. I mean, as I said at the start, I do not know where this is going to go. We have not planned this. We've just tipped up, and I've put some bullet points like I always do. But this is a free flow conversation. So you at 29. So to the outside world, it looks great. You look great. I think you've got things going on. You're doing too much drugs, too much alcohol.
By the way, the conversation goes where it's supposed to, doesn't it?
True.
You know, so
it just does.
That's the point.
I like that.
I think, to the outside world, I would probably have been looked at as very successful. I was I was in the film industry as film crew, but I was also an actor at the time, and I was doing
right. You know, you've got a screen face, actually, haven't you?
I never used to look like this.
You're a good-looking guy.
I'll show you later. I'll show you afterwards a famous commercial I've done, which is like everyone knows it.
Can we put that in some of our clips? Is that right?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, if you see it, you're like straight away. You go, oh no, that's you. Everyone goes, what? That's you. It doesn't look like me. I had short hair,
wow,
no beard.
Wow. Okay, carry on. Cool.
So, like on the outside, you look at this. My ex-girlfriend, very attractive girl, very intelligent. She was also in the film industry. So I suppose it looked like I was very, happy and everything was good, had a nice flat, had everything going for me. And, I'm very charismatic and I'm the life and soul of the party, and I could turn up and I can put the mask on and play the clown. And then in those moments when I'm on my own, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Where is this going?
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, I come from a family of, there's a lot of people in my family who suffer who are in recovery, or they're still suffering with addiction.
Wow.
Or they're dead. There's been a lot of that as well.
So what do you do? What do you do then? I mean, this story's about you, not me. So what did you do when was there an epiphany to say, enough's enough?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I put myself back into therapy. I hadn't been there for a while.
Right.
I went back into therapy, and then I quite quickly realised that I had to change my situation drastically, because it was going to a point of, I was just unhappy all the time. Mm. So I fucked off to Thailand, as lots of people do.
Teach you.
Yeah. And unfortunately, at the time I would have said it was fortunate, but unfortunately I ended up with some people that I knew from previous trips out there, and they had like a pretty nice resort. And so I just spent the first sort of 6 weeks just drinking and partying and shagging, and just this, I was just getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And so in the daytime,
so you'd run away from a problem. I always say this: you can't run away from a problem. No, you can't.
No,
you got to deal with the thing head on and deal with it at a granular level. Because if you up and run like you did, off to Thailand, it's still there.
It's in you, yeah.
And then you're going to hang around with people who are into a bit of debauchery and everything else. It gets worse. Right?
Yeah. And so I got to the stage where I couldn't take anymore, and one morning I got up and I had my little hut was up the top of the resort, and I walked all the way through the resort and I was crying as I did, and I just had a beeline it was right on the beach, a beeline for the beach, and I just got in the sea and I just started swimming and swimming and swimming, and I went as fucking far as I could go until I couldn't even see the coast.
Shit.
And I was just out in the middle of the ocean. I thought, I've had enough now. And I just went, let myself go under the water, and I had a feeling of like, I don't want to die. I really don't want to die. And I came back up, took a deep breath and thought, what am I doing? And I swam back, moved out of that resort, put myself into a Muay Thai training camp for a couple of months.
Did you?
And just completely changed everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I spent the rest of the time I was there, because I was there a year. That was in the first couple of months, and I was there a year, and I spent the rest of the time in a private little hut on my own. And all I'd done really was yoga, Muay Thai, writing and crying. That was the rest of my 9 months out there.
Wow.
Which was I still sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I go back through the books just to see where I was.
Do you still have those journals?
Yeah. I sometimes look at them just to see how desperate it was, But what's beautiful about it is when you take that different perspective, and you're able to formulate it in writing or record it in any way, you can see the trajectory changing, You can see, I could see myself coming out of it through the words. Things were changing in me, shifting. And I come back like this.
Wow. Wow. Do you reflect on that time and say that was the point where your self-love started?
It was definitely a big part of it, yeah. To sort of realise that I loved myself enough to not want to continue the life that I was living, but also loved myself enough to want to save my life at that moment.
You say on your socials some very philosophical and profound things at times, and we are going to talk about where we're at right now and this situation in this country and globally. And I know that's a big thing we want to cover. But do you think that there is the element of the importance of self-discovery? You know, I mean, I guess what I'm alluding to here is I'm thinking that my mind, like yours, is active whilst we're talking, and it's like I think that it's important to know who you are, and a lot of people don't, and they wonder why they're a bit fucked up because they've never taken the time to ask themselves, "Who am I?
Yeah.
What is important to me? What is my passion? What is my purpose?
What am I here for?
What am I here for?"
Mark Twain said the two most important days of our life is the day we're born and the day we find out why. And that's always stuck with me. And actually, one of my favourite songs, when you just said, "Who am I?" There's a song by Country Joe and the Fish, who were an old like psychedelic rock band from like Woodstock times. And they got a cracking song called "Who Am I?" And it just goes through talking about like trying to discover yourself and killing the ego and that other voice that's not us. But people spend their whole lives going through in the rat race, going around on the fucking hamster wheel.
I know.
And never ever.
Do you think that's why men? I mean, you know, do you think that's why men have a midlife crisis?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, but, you know, because they've been living this in this world that they're not actually. They're just none of it's making them happy.
No.
So they've got the car, the house, the wife, the this, the that, the job, the salary, and they're like, yeah, so what?
Yeah.
You know, and then they get to this midlife point and they go,
Clock's ticking.
Is that it?
Clock's ticking as well then.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And then they start to, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a therapist. I'm just,
I think there's some truth in that.
You know, there's a lot of men that get to that age, isn't there? And they're like, oh my God, is this it?
Yeah.
I've done all that and is this it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a funny one, isn't it? So what's this, let's talk about then, let's switch gears a little bit. Thanks for all that anyway, but I mean, that's amazing. I see, you're a difficult man to research. Did you know that? You're a very difficult man to research.
Good.
Most of my guests, I can get tons.
Yeah.
You, I'm like, shit, what are we going to talk about? So it's like, but thanks for sharing that, because I did not know that about you. And I'm dying to see this photo when we get out of air of you, the young version of you.
It's in my earlier stuff. I've spoken about it openly. Yeah. I've never hid it. Yeah. I've spoken about it in various podcasts. There's a guy, very talented director of photography, who's doing his passion project on me at the moment, which is about my journey from being, you know, a life on the periphery of pretty serious crime and violence and drugs. And then having this epiphany, you know, this change.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch with one term: herd mentality.
Yep.
What's your take on that?
Oh, mass formation psychosis. It's
when do you think the biggest? You know, I mean, herd mentality, for anybody listening who doesn't understand that term, it's like the masses following a narrative that's actually indoctrinated into us, right? I don't do politics on this podcast, but your content, it appeals to me because it's just real, you know. And you're saying the stuff that a lot of people are thinking that won't verbalize. I don't think this show will get cancelled after this episode, but who knows? You know, but you know,
I would feel well guilty.
It won't. But you know, there is this line now where some social media accounts are being cancelled because they're saying things which is a bit too against the narrative of, if you know what I'm saying. So I think the herd mentality for me, if I retrospectively look back, was that horrible word, COVID, you know, lockdown. We were like forced. And the term social distance to me is just fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
And you're saying socially distance.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want to dig too deep into the past there, but let's go to where we are now. Yeah. and let's talk about herd mentality, because you've got great insights on this, and you've got a lovely opinion on all of this, haven't you? So help me with this, Danny. Let's go.
Well, again, what I think's the most important factor, which is intrinsic to any sort of being pulled into under a spell or under an illusion or taken to be able to believe a narrative, is because you don't know yourself. Like my discernment, my intuition, I feel is up top shelf. And I think it's because I'm fully in me all the time. I'm fully in my body, you know, I'm present in myself all the time.
Right.
So if all of a sudden there's some external stimuli comes to me, then it comes to me and there's a process that goes on, a fully embodied process where I can feel whether that's right for me because I'm completely in myself.
Okay.
I don't think most people have that. I think they read a headline and the headline is some kind of, it connects with something that perhaps other programming is, which it is, right? It's programming, indoctrination. That's why TV programs and programming and broadcasting, it's all their words to be able to get people to be indoctrinated.
Television. I'm telling you through my vision.
Yeah, exactly.
Through your vision,
yeah. And it's very sophisticated, incredibly sophisticated. And it's made people very susceptible to external opinion or external stimuli without ever having the discernment to go like, how do I feel about that? I don't think people actually do that. Like, what is really in me? Do I really truly agree with that? Or am I just going to go along with the whatever narrative is being pushed at the time? And I think the sad thing for me is subliminally they do it through people's empathy. Because I think about my mum, and you mentioned the pandemic. And my mum is a...
There's his term. I was dying for him to drop it. The plandemic.
It was a plandemic. My mum, her reasoning, obviously for partly for her own safety, because she still has a condition like a rare blood cancer.
Yeah.
Partly for that, but mainly it was about not harming others. You know, so they've created this hysteria based on our compassion for people, which is then why everyone gets righteous. Why people start going, no, but you have to do that because you're not. We're gonna look after each other. We're taking care of each other. So they've come through the back door to be able to hijack our compassion, which is inherent to human beings, to hijack it and turn it to almost weaponize it against people, which is very sad. Very, very sad.
No, it is.
But trying to get people to understand that and just say, listen, because one of the parts for me during the whole shit show, I was just like, listen, I don't give a fuck if you put a COVID jab in your eyeball. All right, I don't care about that. It's you. Just do not expect me to join you. All right, if you want to wear a mask, you want to suffocate yourself, you want to put a carcinogenic prod in your brain, crack on. That's fine by me. Just do not expect me to do that. And I think there is the right place for all of us, because if it doesn't feel right for me, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not playing along. So if everyone felt like that, then we would have a fair representation of the demographic. Whereas actually we don't, because people just go along with what they're told. I mean, people walking around looking for stickers on the floor to tell them which aisle they should be in.
I remember it. I mean, I remember it.
That's insanity.
I just remember it. And I remember seeing an infographic, and it was saying, you know, when we were allowed back into supermarkets, and we had to go. I mean, I'm laughing, and it's not actually funny. And you just reminded me. I'd forgotten about that. You had stickers, like you had to go up and down, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then there was an infographic that I seen that someone had sneezed 3 aisles down. Now that germ carries in the air, so you were going to get it anyway. So what was the point in being? What was the point in being three trolleys behind the next man and wearing a bloody mask?
But I mean, I disagree with that completely anyway, because I think germ theory is a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think if you look at the people behind germ theory, Louis Pasteur and stuff, they were Masons, Freemasons.
Wow.
Part of the club, secret society.
Wow.
So the actual stuff which is more logical, more reasonable, more natural is terrain theory, which is about me, not about you, it's about me. Now, of course, I believe there is some kind of contagion happening in the world through frequency and energy and stuff like that, because we pick up on each other, right?
There is germs, there is disease. No, you're not buying that.
I think it's environmental.
I mean, there's a protagonist online, her name's going to come to me in a minute, and she did not have the jab. And contracted COVID and spoke about how her body naturally dealt with that, and it was basically 3 days. That's it, done. You know,
I think COVID was
now, obviously, there is an opinion that some people died of the disease. I'm not of the opinion whether that's right or wrong. I'm going to sit on the fence on that.
Yeah.
I am going to sit on the fence on that. You know, but you obviously are very strong on this. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel when you look at a lot of what had gone on at the time, I mean, there was quite clearly they were changing. I mean, there was so much conspiracy going on within the hospitals and stuff. Yeah, I mean, and there was from what I have seen from my own research and people that I've spoken to who've seen their family members die who had existing diseases, they were put down as COVID, and that's not the reason they died.
No, I agree.
So I think there was a big manufacturing.
There was something going on
to create and to be able to fuel the hysteria.
Yeah, I'll also never understand why we have to stand outside our houses on a Wednesday at 8:00 and bang on pans and celebrate the NHS, because of the NHS, for whatever good, bad, indifference, they are saving lives every single day. They're performing miracles every single day and have done ever since they were formed.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do we ask any senior person in the NHS whether they found that embarrassing or not?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. But again, the masses were on the doorstep with pans. Ding, 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 8:00. You know, out we go. Oh, come on, it's cheer the NHS time. I mean, I found that absolutely beyond any comprehension I've ever felt in my life.
We knew an ex-paramedic who was in a conversation where they were being told they were to put their blues and twos on and drive around in empty ambulances because they want to continue to fuel the hysteria. Look at all those things that they built, all those incredibly massive, sophisticated
I remember that.
Hospitals, like makeshift temporary hospitals, and they were empty. I mean, for me, like the death charts didn't change at all until they brought in the jabs. That's when they changed, and now your show's getting cancelled.
Should we steer off it?
Whatever you want to do here. This is your house, mate, and I respect that.
I mean, I'm a free speaker like you, but you are right. There are certain things that will get
of course. I understand that.
So let's move slightly forward. We'll move slightly forward. You know, let's talk about, you know, the next big wave. And again, this might be a contentious issue, so I may have to edit some of this. I may not. I'll take a judgment call, and if that's the end of So What's Your Story, well, it was a good last episode, wasn't it? So digital ID. I mean, what's that one all about, eh?
Oh, man. What's that all about? Well,
do you actually think it's going to happen?
No.
I don't.
Not in this...
Guys.
No, not currently. With what I believe is the puppet we've currently got in charge, supposedly in charge. I don't think he's in charge of his own shoelaces. But him, Starmer, Keir Starlin, as they call him, I don't think he is... I think, to me, it looks too easy, right? So he's a hated politician. People absolutely despise him. I think across the board. I know people who've been... Labour their whole lives, left their whole lives. I was once upon a time Labour before I fell out of politics, and people I know still would vote for Labour, and they absolutely despise the man because he's just smarmy. He's got a horrible energy about him, and I think that the way he's talking is like, this is what you're going to have, this is mandatory, and we're going to push this. I think they're expecting a blowback. We're talking about agencies of intelligence like the Tavistock Institute and places like that spend absolute billions on programming the human mind. This is a sophisticated game of chess that they're already probably quite a few steps ahead on the chessboard compared to a lot of the masses. So I think they're expecting this blowback. So I don't think it's going to happen under his regime. I think what's going to happen is that they're going to bring in the saviour, which is probably going to be old frog-faced Farage, and they're going to bring him in as the one that's for the people, and then slowly then they will introduce it through some kind of problem reaction solution Hegelian dialect, which would be, I would imagine, another pandemic or perhaps some kind of cyber attack or the banks going down, something big that gives people to go, oh my God, what are we going to do about the state?
Interesting. The thing, I mean, you know, you're a thinker. You talk. You're a smart guy. these are, these are our opinions that we're putting, aren't they? But there is some substance behind what you're saying. And I think, do you think when we talk about this, if we go there again, but skate around the bits that we think are going to get cancelled, this herd thing, do you think there's more of an awareness coming?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and I don't even like the word awakening, but is it an awakening maybe?
Absolutely.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that there's something definitely going on in our planet energetically, that there's some kind of, what I would say is that a feeling of a deeper or higher level of consciousness that is accessible now, as opposed to perhaps in the past. I feel that we're breaking out of the illusion. We're breaking out of the paradigm that we've all been under for such a long time. Yeah. Because I said it to my dad last night. Like my old man said, he was saying, is anything changing? I said, of course it is. We've never had these fucking conversations, have we? I said, did you have this conversation with Pop? Like my granddad. And he said no, but my granddad was aware in his own way, but not. We're starting to realise who we are and what we are. Yeah. Which is an infinite light being in this physical vessel, which is incredibly sophisticated piece of hardware, like an advanced piece of hardware our body is, and we've still just scratching the surface about that. I agree. And I think a lot of people are starting to realise that, so we're seeing lots of self-healing happening now. Yeah. We're seeing people not needing to perhaps go down certain avenues that were available to them before to be able to cure what can sometimes be, like life-threatening diseases or illnesses. Yep. And I feel that's something because we're starting to remember. Yeah, and I think it's non-age specific as well. A lot of the younger generation are taking more care of themselves and conscious than perhaps, I'm going to say we then, but I've already insulted you once about your age, so I'm not going to go there again. But in my era, back in the 80s, the giddy 80s when it was clubbing and this and that, and it was insane. Now younger generation are like, well, I want to take care of myself. I want to, and there is this wave of consciousness. So, and I think even, more mature ages like myself and you being younger, there's an awareness there as well, isn't there? Because, we are, as you say, there's like this, you've made a great point there. My granddad was a real man's man, both my granddads. You won't be having these kinds of conversations with them. No. But my dad, I could. And my dad passed away a number of years ago, but my dad was very open to those types of conversations. Interesting, isn't it? And here's the thing as well. Like if you look at the mainstream arena, look at go into your supermarkets, go into your shopping centres. Any supermarket you walk into now, there is loads and loads of organic produce. Yeah, there is. Yeah. Which shows a level of consciousness change. And the consumer doesn't want to, because we know there's something wrong with that food. It's unnatural. Yeah. So we prefer to eat something that is organic or natural or ecological. The same goes for fashion. Every single high street fashion shop you go into now, they've got organic cotton, organic linen. True. It's because the consumer is changing. We're starting to realise that the way that we're treating our planet and ourselves is completely and utterly inverted. So do you think there might be another shift, which I'm going to throw into the mix of our conversation, of screen time? Oof, yeah. Because, it's evident that it's not good for you to be on a phone. Did you know the average screen time in the UK now is 5 hours? In America it's 7, in Asia it's 9 fucking hours. 9 hours. Screen time, average. Yeah. A lot of people are going to listen to this and go, let me just check my screen time. Shit, I can't be 5 hours. Oh my God, I'm 6. Yeah. It's easily done. Yeah. You're on WhatsApp, you're on socials, you're on your emails. I mean, it's all there in the palm of your hand. Yeah. But do you think, like, you live in a sunny climate, you live, outside of the UK, is it less a thing there where you live in Spain? I know I travel a lot, and it's like when you go to some parts of the world, you barely see people on their phone. Yeah, I think it depends. Do you think it's a healthy thing or not for us to consider our screen time? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I think we should take into account that once upon a time we had a laptop or a computer, and then we had a camcorder, and we had a radio, and we had a phone, and we had a Walkman, and we had all these things. Yeah. and now they're all completely concised
they're
into
just
one.
there in one thing. Amazing.
So I feel that there is an element of the way that we can use that technology in a positive way, in a productive way.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's all about intention, which comes back into everything we do in our lives, right? Like, what's the intention? If you're genuinely hungry, then go and eat. But if you're like feeling shitty about yourself and you want some comfort and you're just eating in a robotic, monotonous way, like what are you doing to yourself? You know, like if you're just sitting there distracting yourself from reality on social media, like what's the intention there? The intention's negative, isn't it? The intention's not going to do you any good. So
do you think it's about balance?
Always. Yeah, always. I think we can use these tools for very, very positive things. I mean, look at all the technology we've got set up today. This is
we're surrounded by tech.
It's a very positive thing to be the use of it, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it depends on the person, depends on each situation feels very unique to me. But I would say, be very aware of it. Be very aware, because I feel when I'm on it too long, I feel sucked in.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like my energy's been sucked into that device. Yeah, definitely.
And the interesting thing is, I mean, like I'm like you, so I produce content. You know, without technology, I would not be listened to where I am listened to right now and reached and everything else. And but I love nothing more than putting my phone away and going walking with my dog in the park.
What dog you got?
I've got Weimaraner.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice dogs.
Yeah, his name's Duke. He's beautiful.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Lovely.
He's on some of my socials.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but
Lovely dogs.
You know, that for me is I feel good when I do that.
Absolutely.
I feel great.
Yeah,
because I'm with him. It's my connection with my dog. I'm in nature. Now I know, again, people listening to this, maybe they live in the cities. And it's very hard to find that green space. But there is green space. There is, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I mean, I think it's an excuse.
Well, I think it's a bit of bullshit.
Yeah. I do. I think people who, like, okay, look, not everyone is physically able, so I understand that. It's difficult for some people to be able to get around, granted, and I get that.
Yeah.
But like most of us can, if we want to go and sit by a tree in the quiet, we can find it. It's there.
Even if you put a couple of plants on your windowsill.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people growing like amazing stuff on their balconies to be able to grow food
then connect.
And to connect.
Yeah. So, look, I said we spoke about a few things already, haven't we? We've gone through quite a bit, and I'm sort of obviously conscious of your time, my time. But what's your big thing at the minute, Danny? That's making you go, giving you the ick. And what's your take on it? What can we do that's in our control, and what should we just choose to just ignore and just keep this piece of what you're talking about, this inner piece, this self-love? It's very easy to get drawn in, isn't it?
Spend hours fighting online if you want.
You can.
Yeah.
So what's your take? What's your advice? What's the thing that's bugging you at the minute?
Division.
Right.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Division.
Help us with that. What do you mean?
I feel like the powers that are pulling the strings of our world, and they're in the shadows. Like I'm talking about them as the shadow leaders or the shadow controllers, people that are actually running governments. Usually, people from very, very well-financed places. You can talk about like Black Rocks and Vanguards and stuff, but that's still just a facade. The people behind the scenes of that. Who are pulling the strings of our world.
Did you know BlackRock's buying more properties in this country than they've ever bought?
Yeah. It's the digital prison is on its way unless we do something about it. So the division for me is that, because I could say like digital ID, but that to me feels too on the surface still, because the digital ID is something that they're using division. They're getting us all to fight amongst ourselves while they're doing that. Yeah. So the first part we have to take care of is to stop being where we have to stop being victims to the divide, because it's the old adage, isn't it? It's divide and conquer. Because if right and left are fighting each other, and black and white are fighting each other, and Muslim and Christian are fighting each other, then what are we doing? We're all fighting each other, and they're just doing what they want.
Yep.
And they're the ones who are feeding that narrative.
Yeah.
That's their agenda.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just a case of like taking a step back and it's like, listen, the people are not to blame. We shouldn't be looking down here blaming each other. We should be looking at who's pulling the strings to create this division.
Very, very interesting conversation we are having. I could sit and talk to you for a long time. What do you think then about what we spoke about earlier about finding your true self, and I know you run workshops and things. Have you got some workshops coming up soon?
I've got one starting next week. Yeah,
is it?
It's online though.
Is it?
I'd love it to be physical, but it just at the moment we just don't have to.
What's that one?
It's called The Inside Job.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really? Yeah, I love it.
Well, it's an inside job, isn't it?
It just is. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you spoke, briefly today about your journey of this, this young man, self-hatred, and then coming out the other side and absolutely truly loving yourself now for who you are.
Not always.
Not always.
I'm still susceptible to the
and
shadow
as we've all said,
yeah.
we're all a work in progress, right?
Of course, absolutely.
So but advice. Somebody listening to this, thinking, do you know what? I'm not happy with who I am. I'm sick of just agreeing with everybody else and the lads and that their opinions and I actually don't agree. What would be your, if you could work with that one person who I'm creating in out of words? If that person sat in front of you today, what would you be saying to them?
Change the record. The record's spinning. It's the same voice. It's the same program. It's the same framework. That is just literally it's a self-imposed prison of limitation that is created by internal dialogue. So change the dialogue first and foremost. Be aware of the dialogue, And how do we do that? You invest in yourself. You start to spend more time in silence, more time sitting quietly. People say meditation. I don't think we need to give it a label. I think you just need to sit there and not have any kind of stimuli around you and just relax. Breathe, feel your body from the inside out. Firstly, if you continue to do that in a habitual way, then you're just going to start to feel more of you. And when more of you comes to the surface, then your levels of discernment go up. Your intuition is amplified. Then you start to be able to feel and find the people that you're meant to be in relationship with, people that you're meant to gravitate towards. So you're not going to ever find the real ones unless you're real yourself, until you really know you. What do you like? What do you like doing? What makes you happy? All these things that they seem very simple, but most of the time people are just distracting themselves instead of taking a look into what do they want from life. And so I feel that the more time we spend investing in ourselves, I just think that feeling gets stronger and stronger. And it's like anything, right? First of all, you just think oh my God, I've never sat in silence in my entire life. I remember if somebody would have said this to me 15 years ago, Danny, you need to go and sit in silence, I'd have laughed my head off. But now I know.
Do you now take times?
Yeah, all the time.
Time out?
Yeah, all the time. And I feel if I haven't done it I've just been on a really awful few days working in the film industry. I mean, some lovely people there, but the actual, the frenetic, frantic energy, which is being invested in something, a commercial, right, a TV commercial, which has got absolutely no integrity to it whatsoever. It's selling a load of shit that we do not need. That to me is not a space to be able to find the quiet in me. Yeah.
So do you find when you've been in that environment, I'm going to say it was only 3 days, it's long enough for you, and then now you're in London today, it's a busy place, London, it's very hard to find tranquility. Do you find that once you do settle again back into your routine, you need to do that quiet reset?
Yeah. I mean, you can do it with a breath, though.
No,
it's
I know
just
you
like
can.
one conscious breath.
No, I know you can.
And of course, ideally, you would be spending a specific amount of time in the morning and at night before you go to bed, like 10, 15, 20 minutes, just being able to sit in silence.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that time, because I know everyone's got busy lives, you can just take a conscious breath. But you've got to practice it. It's like anything. Like when you first consider that sitting in silence, it might seem like Everest. But how do you get up Everest? First step.
Crawl, walk, run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an amazing piece of advice. And, what do you think about... You see, I've got an interesting perspective on the back of what you've just said, which is, some friendships you have to let go as you grow, as you develop, as you become you. But what about compromise? Is there a compromise? Should you compromise?
I suppose, again, every situation's unique, every relationship's unique. But I find myself sometimes compromising. I find that sometimes that I've got such deep, heartfelt ties to certain people in this world that I will suffer some of what I would say is perhaps a little bit more superficial conversation or a superficial relationship based on I just want to keep that person in my life because I've got a lot of love for them. But there's other people who I don't feel that strongly about. I can feel they're starting to drift away from me, and that's just natural.
I think it is, dear.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone, like, no one's got to take the blame. It's not like, oh, it's your fault, but we're not friends anymore, or like it's because of you're this and I'm this. It's just like it just happens. People just dissolve.
Yeah, you shift sometimes.
Shifts,
yeah. So where's the future then, Danny? I mean, you've got good online presence. You're doing some workshops. You're doing another one shortly. What's your hope? What's your intention? What would you? I mean, look at him now. He's like, fucking hell, Ian, these are big questions. You know, is it like where's your dream? What are you seeing? Do you have something that you're seeing in the future?
Absolutely, yeah.
And what is it then?
Well, our project, the Free Folk project, is very much about creating an example of what the world should look like in a microcosm. You know, and we would be able to do that by creating not only a physical interdependent village where you've got a lot of support and you've got everything you kind of need in the close proximity, and also to continue the virtual community, which is content, which is like loads of things. We've got a children's animation that we're working on at the moment, because that is very important, because, you know, I've got 3 young kids and I'm very aware that a lot of the stuff that they want to watch or that is available to them or accessible to them is a load of nonsense. And it lacks meaning, it lacks integrity, it lacks value. It doesn't meet my principles or the principles of my wife. So we're just like, okay, let's make our own one. So things like continuing with positive media content, to continue offering platforms to support people. I feel, and I've said this from the beginning, I'm early. I'm so early, and I've always been early. You know, I get there quickly, very, very quickly. I get to the place that I know that is correct, and I know eventually people are going to go, oh yeah, he was saying that 10 years ago. And it might take a long time, and it might take a lot more patience, and sometimes it's very frustrating, but I'll never give up, because I feel this is we've all got our calling, and this is mine.
Nice. Sweet, man. Love that. Love you, man. I mean, so how can people find you? How can they join your next workshop?
Well, we've got a website which is called Free Folk Project, but it's www.freefolk.co. Okay. That's our website. You can check us out there, what we're getting up to. All of the newsletters and stuff come sporadically, because there's no real structure in my life at present, which is something I'm working on. I'm on Instagram at DearDanny11. Also got a Telegram channel as well. Okay. All right. We'll put all of that in our footnotes of the episode. Yep. Final thoughts. I just think people just need to be, like, inherently, people are good. All right. And the world. I agree with you. Yeah. And I think the world, the programming, the media, everything is trying to tell us otherwise. But inherently, we're good. We're love, we're joy, we're happiness, we're kindness, we're compassion. And I think people just really need to dig that part out of them, even like against all the hysteria, all the sensationalism, all of the fuckery that's going on in our world. Dig that bit out of you, because that's the strongest force in this universe. I'm with you, man. Well, there you go. I did tell you, I did explain to you at the start of this, we did not know where we were going to go. And I really enjoyed that, Danny. That was pretty awesome, man. Thank you, Ian. And, you know, it's like, I'm going to invite Danny back for part 2, definitely. We may have to chop some of it out. So if you're watching this now, know that some of what we said, we could not say, because we get fucking cancelled. But I'm proud of the fact that I've sat with this man in my room, Danny Bedford. What a guy. He knows who he is. I encourage you to reconnect with you and welcome who you are. Be that version of you. Do not be scared, because we are all truly only one thing, and that's you. Thank you for listening to So What's Your Story. Hit subscribe, follow us. Please help us to keep building this great podcast that is now 3.5 years old. Gosh, that makes me feel like I've put so much into this, and I have. So, see you soon. I love you all. Bye for now.